Hello students, welcome back. In the second part of the discussion about phylum Annelida, we'll move on about discussing the advanced characters of the phylum Annelida. So let's start. The most remarkable example in phylum Annelida, that is of the Hirudinaria. The Hirudinaria have circular system with hemocoelic system. The excretory organ in phylum Annelida is the nephridia. They are the coiled tubules which help in the osmoregulation. The excretory matter can be ammonia or urea. Ammonia is excreted in the aquatic forms and urea is excreted in the land forms. The nervous system consists of a circumventral ring which is double and midventral with ganglia. Here in this figure you can see it is the figure of earthworm. A nervous system is shown in the earthworm. Here you can see that this circular structure is forming a circumventric ring. Means nerves are forming a circular structure around the pharynx of these animals. And here you can also see that the nerve cord is double. This is double, means 1 and 2. And in between of the nerve cord, ganglias are formed. So these are the ganglia and the cord is double, the nerve cord is double and midventral. Now about the examples of the Annelida, some most remarkable examples include the Erinicola, which is a lungworm or a lobeworm. It is used as a fish bait. The next is of the Nereis. This is the most important example of Annelida which is often studied. This is also known as sandworm, ragworm or clamworm. It is found on the seashores between tide marks, burrows. It is nocturnal, means it is active in the night. It is carnivorous and it is gregarious also, means it likes to live in colonies with other Nereis. The fertilization in the Nereis occurs in the sea. The parapodia, which are unjointed appendages, are present in each segment except the first and the last. So during breeding, what happens is that the body of a Nereis is divided into two parts. The anterior part, which is known as the asexual part, is known as the etoke, and the posterior part, which happens to be known as the sexual part, is known as epitoke. So there are two parts, namely the etoke, which is the asexual part, anterior part, and epitoke, which is the sexual part, posterior part. So this process is known as the epitoke. The Nereis, when it finally enters into its sexual stage, comes to known as heteronereis. The next most studied example of phylum Annelida includes Ferretima posthuma, which is earthworm. It is ureotelic in water in normal soil conditions, but it is ammonotelic in water saturated soil. And they are also called as the nature's plow of man, and they show cutaneous respiration. Here is the diagram of Nereis and heteronereis. In this diagram you can see the head region. The body is divided into head, trunk and tail region. Palps are present, which are sensory in nature. Antenna is present. And you can also see parapodia are present all over the body, which have chitinous setae. So this is Nereis and this is heteronereis. So in heteronereis is the sexual stage of Nereis. So about this part, this is known as the etoke, and this part, which is the posterior part, is known as the epitoke. So the anterior asexual part is the etoke, and the posterior sexual part is known as the epitoke. The phylum Annelida. The phylum Annelida are soft, elongated, cylindrical and flattened animals, and their body is divided into segments, also known as the metamers, which are ring-like grooves. So metamerism starts from this phylum. The anterior and the posterior end are distinct, and the anterior end has a distinct head with sense organ in some annelids. Appendages are simple, unjointed and locomotory, having the chitinous setae and parapodia. So these animals move with the help of the parapodia, which are chitinous in nature. In the annelids, the body wall consists of cuticle, epidermis and the muscle layer. The muscles are circular and longitudinal, and they are smooth and unstriated. The annelids are eucoelomate animals, that means they have a true coelom, and in the eucoelomate they have the schizocoelomic organization. In these animals, the digestive tract is complete. That means there are two openings. One serves as a mouth and the other serves as an anus, and it is straight and extends throughout the body of the worm. The gut has both circular and the longitudinal muscles, and in the few annelids are sanguivorous, that means they feed on the blood. The digestive canals are developed for the first time in this phylum. These annelids respire through cutaneous respiration, that is through the general body surface, but some annelids have gills, so they have bronchial respiration. The circulatory system is closed. Heart appears for the first time in these animals. The blood is red with the hemoglobin, and it has amoeboid corpuscles. In some annelids, a different pigment, that is the chlorocruorin, is present. The sense organs in the annelids includes the chemoreceptors, photoreceptors. There are palps and eyes, and tentacles are also present. Sexes are separate or united, and asexual reproduction is by budding and the fission. The phenomena of regeneration is well marked in the annelids also, and in few annelids the life history includes a larva, that is the trochophore larva. Hirudinaria has a circulatory system which is hemocoelic, and excretory organ are nephridia. So these are coil tubules that help in the osmoregulation of these animals. The excretory matter is ammonia in the aquatic forms and urea in the land forms. So the aquatic forms are ammonotelic and the land forms are ureotelic. The nervous system is also well developed in these animals. The examples can be like Arenicola, which is a lungworm or a lobeworm, and there is Nereis, which is a sandworm, which can be called as sandworm, ragworm, and clamworm. During the breeding period, the body of the Nereis is divided into two parts: the anterior asexual part known as the etoke, and the posterior sexual part known as the epitoke. This change is known as the epitoke, and the sexual stage is called as the heteronereis. The next example is very common, that is of the earthworm. The biological name of earthworm is Ferretema posthuma. It is a friend of a farmer, and it is nature's plow of man. So they have a very important ecological importance. In earthworm, the respiration is cutaneous. So students, In this part, we discussed about the excretory, circulatory and the nervous system of the phylum Annelida, and we also discussed about the important examples of the phylum Annelida. In the next part, we'll be discussing about the largest phylum present on this earth, and that is the phylum Arthropoda. So stay tuned.